parents who don't want to wear a mask indoors in school? Are there any other options for them?
For the fall, there are some options. They can go to our school that's online. They can opt not to return to the regular school, but to go to the school where they don't have to go to school at all other than via Zoom.
Yeah.
And that's the easiest way for folks
What
who
about
don't
the
want
summer
to
school? What if they
participate.
were already enrolled in the summer school and now they get this mask mandate and they're not comfortable with wearing a mask?
They really should wear the mask.
But if they're not comfortable, what should they do?
They should just make it known that they don't feel comfortable, and at that point, just not return.
Parents who don't want to wear a mask indoors in school.
Listen to the way she says, they really should wear the mask. Like tyranny a la Lewis Carroll. They do it with the comfort of their own conscience. They really
Are there
should.
any other options for them?
Listen to this.
For the fall, there are some options.
Here are
They
your
can
options.
go to our school
Compromised
that's
education online.
They can opt not to return to the regular
They
school,
can
but
opt
to go
not
to
to come
the
back.
school where they don't have to go to school at all other than via Zoom.
They can
And
opt to.
that's the
they're not
easiest way
welcome.
for folks
What
who
about
don't
the
want to
summer school? What if they were
participate.
already enrolled in the summer
Listen to
school and
this.
now they get this mask mandate and they're not comfortable with wearing a mask?
They really should.
They really should wear the mask.
But if
it's
they're
Can
not
you
comfortable,
imagine-
what should they do?
Can you imagine the audacity of someone? You really should wear the mask. I'm not adhering to anything that might be considered right-wing conspiracy theory. Let me just straighten my camera. I'm not promoting any right-wing conspiracy theories about lack of, the CO2 intake and all these. I'm not getting into that. I'll stick to basic confirmed fact. In Quebec, my homeland, they recalled tens of thousands of masks because they were potentially toxic. Potentially toxic masks, which contained graphene. Oh, but they resolved the problem. They resolved that problem. So now when they tell you to wear the mask, you really should just wear the mask. Just shut up and do it, because there will never be another potential problem again. And for anybody who doesn't know this, toxic masks, Quebec. It's like there's a curse that comes with knowledge or experience, I should say. Here, listen to this, people. Potentially toxic masks distributed in schools, and you really should wear the mask. Yeah. Potentially toxic masks. You really should wear them because I'm a fascist dictator telling you what to put over your face because of my own irrational fears or because it makes me feel virtuous. Potentially toxic masks distributed in schools and daycares in Quebec. March 26, 2021. The gray and blue SNN 200642 masks should no longer be used. Warn Quebec and Ottawa. How did I come across this story? Someone who works in the education system stopped me on the street, sobbing on my shoulder, because this individual had been wearing one of these potentially toxic blue masks for 4 months and noticed it felt like this person had cat hair in the back of their throat. And now they were worried about long-term consequences. The ultimate irony of that relationship is what it devolved into when I took positions criticizing certain things that this individual thought could not be criticized. So one day an ally, the next day an enemy. One model of the mask distributed to Quebec schools and daycares may be dangerous for the lungs, not dangerous for the human, by the way. Just don't worry. You're fine. Your lungs might just be wrecked, as they could contain a potentially toxic material, according to a directive sent out by the provincial government Friday. Let's just see how many, I forgot how many schools. Here we go. Back in December, Quebec government revealed that masks had been distributing for months to more than 15,000 daycares across the province, did not meet safety standards, and daycare staff were ordered to stop using them. You really should wear the masks. And that's for those that are potentially toxic. As if, who could have ever thought that there might be something fundamentally unnatural about putting something over your mouth all day for 8 hours a day? And that's when they're just potentially toxic. Even when they're not potentially toxic, but not necessarily used properly, overused, reused, not used properly, there are other issues. Mold developing in them if you reuse a wet mask, as most kids do, because kids are idiots. If anybody who's had a kid knows that kids are idiots. It's part of growing up. You're born an idiot and you grow into an adult, and the adults that are idiots are typically children who have never grown up. But that's when they're not potentially toxic, even when they're used properly. Potential mold, potential other issues, potential just, touching your face. Yeah, you really should wear a mask. Yeah, you know what my response to that, I think she's the director of San Francisco schools or something along those lines. If you are scared of a child or a student without a mask, you go home and you stay there. It's lockdowns don't need to apply to everybody if they work for the person who stays home. You're scared? You think you need a lockdown? Go lockdown and leave everyone else alone. If you're locked down in your house, it doesn't matter that I'm out on the streets. Everyone thinks that, a certain procedure works. If it works, you don't need everybody else to do it. That's not how things work. That's not how, when things work, how they work. The insidious, you really should wear, I know what's best for you. Oh, and if you don't want to, you can stay home. We'll find separate ways, but we'll accommodate you, but you're not welcome here. Because I think you need to do something absolutely irrational to satiate my absolutely irrational fears. Yep. With freedom like that, who needs tyranny?